Hello, welcome to the Bella Infidelity Stories channel, where we present authentic narratives filled with surprising turns. If you found the video enjoyable, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It truly contributes to the growth of our channel. Now, let us immerse ourselves in the narrative. I have always been someone who prioritizes his health. It's not solely about impressing others or showcasing physical strength. I genuinely prioritize maintaining good health, feeling vibrant, and ensuring that everything is functioning properly. Every 5 years, I engage in this particular activity. A comprehensive examination. I undergo all the necessary blood tests, heart evaluations, the complete procedure. My doctor consistently assures me that I'm fine, yet I still choose to do it because I appreciate having that certainty. Upon reaching the age of 25, I decided it was the right moment for another series of tests. It's simply an integral aspect of my identity. I was not anticipating anything out of the ordinary to occur. I expected it to be just like before. Complete the test, receive confirmation that all is well, and continue with my day. The clinic felt familiar, as always. It's not very far from my home. It wasn't extravagant, but it accomplished what it needed to. I approached the receptionist, who greeted me with her customary cheerful demeanor, and then I took a seat in the waiting area. I felt completely at ease. I certainly wasn't anticipating any negative news. I picked up my phone and began scrolling through my social media, filling the moments until it was my turn. Moments later, the door swung open. "Jack." A voice rang out. I raised my gaze. It was a nurse, likely close to my age or perhaps slightly older. Liana exuded a serene and assured presence. She stood tall with flowing brown hair, and her eyes possessed a keen sharpness that conveyed both professionalism and approachability simultaneously. She appeared to be fully engaged, not merely following a routine. "Indeed, that's me," I declared, rising to my feet. "Come with me," she said, her smile warm and inviting, as she guided me down the hallway and into the exam room. The room resembled a typical doctor's office. Unadorned walls, a few charts affixed to the side, and a standard bed draped in that familiar crinkly paper. She invited me to join her on the bed, and I complied. She proceeded with the usual inquiries. "Are there any health concerns within your family? How frequently do you engage in physical activity? How do you approach your meals?" The typical items. I responded to everything with a laid-back attitude. I typically engage in workouts around 5 days each week. I stay quite engaged. She acknowledged with a nod and jotted down some notes. "That's excellent. How is your energy level? Are there any problems with your sleep?" "Everything is just fine. I rest well and feel fantastic." She offered another smile, and then the moment arrived for the physical examination. I removed my shirt, and she started the routine examination, listening to my heartbeat, checking my pulse, and measuring my blood pressure. I had experienced this numerous times in the past, yet there was an unmistakable quality in her focus this time that felt distinct. She exhibited a level of concentration that I found somewhat unfamiliar. As she approached to examine my lungs, she lingered a moment longer than typical. Initially, it didn't register with me, but then I noticed the expression on her face. She appeared taken aback. "I have my doubts." It was understated, yet undeniably present. She swiftly collected herself, yet I could sense that she had observed something. Perhaps it was due to my extensive training, or perhaps it was simply her expertise shining through. Yet, I witnessed it. After a brief pause, she remarked, "Everything sounds wonderful. Jack, your health is truly remarkable. Everything is fine here." A smile crept across my face, a wave of relief washing over me. "It's wonderful to hear that." Upon completing the exam, she handed me a few forms to bring home. "The results will be ready in just a few days. Everything appears to be in order from my perspective." I slipped my shirt back on, expressed my gratitude, and made my way out the door. As I stepped out of the room, an unsettling sense of change lingered in the air. A fleeting moment passed when she appeared slightly taken aback, and the atmosphere of the appointment felt just a touch more intimate than normal. I realized I might be overanalyzing the situation, yet I couldn't ignore the fact that something had piqued my interest. Upon returning home that evening, I held all the paperwork in my grasp. I carefully unpacked all my belongings and settled at the kitchen table, perusing the results with keen interest. Nothing new under the sun. Everything appeared just as it did before, perfectly in line with my previous observations. However, as I reached the bottom of one of the forms, I spotted something unusual. Her number was inscribed with precision on the page. Nurse Liana. Contact number. I came to a halt. Excuse me, could you clarify that? Could this have been an error? Perhaps it was merely a standard inclusion in the notes, yet I found myself doubting that notion. My heart raced with sudden intensity. I examined it once more, and indeed, it was present. Her name resonates. Her contact information. Inscribed in deep black ink. What was my initial response? I was taken aback. I was at a loss for how to respond. This was not an everyday occurrence. Could this have been an oversight? Or could it have been something deeper? I gazed at the number for a moment, feeling uncertain about my next move. Certainly, she had a captivating allure, yet I never anticipated an outcome like this. I had visited the doctor countless times in the past, yet nothing even close to this had ever occurred. Eventually, I reached a decision. Why not indeed? At 25, I felt a surge of confidence and thought, why not make the call? If she intended to leave the number behind, then I would discover it. If that's the case, then at least I would have clarity. I retrieved my phone and gazed at the number. My thumb lingered above the dial pad. Could this truly be unfolding? In a fleeting moment, I found myself dialing her number. I was surprised when she answered the call. To be honest, I was merely going through the motions at that moment, still somewhat in disbelief that I had her number at all. Yet, as the call connected and she answered, my heart began to race. Greetings. Her voice was gentle yet unmistakably distinct. I paused for a moment. For a fleeting instant, I considered ending the call. What was I up to? Yet, a sudden realization struck me, reminding me of the initial reason for my call, an insatiable curiosity and the simple truth that she had shared her number with me. I wasn't about to give in at this point. Hello, I'm Jack. I remarked, attempting to maintain a nonchalant demeanor, yet the hesitation in my tone was unmistakable. Earlier today, at the clinic. She took a moment before replying, and the silence felt charged with anticipation rather than discomfort. Hello, Jack. Indeed, I recall. How is everything progressing? She inquired, and I could sense the subtle warmth in her tone. Indeed, all is well. As I review the results, I couldn't help but notice your number on the paperwork. I remarked, a hint of laughter escaping me, tinged with nervousness. I wasn't certain if that was deliberate, but I figured I'd reach out. Another pause lingered, yet this one carried a weight of contemplation. Ah, I understand, she replied, her tone gentle. I had my doubts about whether you'd really make the call. I left it there because I've noticed you at the clinic a few times, and I must say, you seem to take great care of yourself and are quite fit. That took me by surprise. I mean, of course, I put in a lot of effort at the gym, but it was a bit surprising to hear that from someone, particularly a nurse, who holds a professional role. It seemed as though she was more than just fulfilling her duties. There appeared to be a genuine personal investment in her work. Initially, I was unsure of how to reply. Thank you. That holds significant value. I mentioned, attempting to sound relaxed, yet my thoughts were in a whirlwind. Did this actually happen? Was this really occurring? I understand this might come off as somewhat unusual, she went on, and I could detect a faint laugh in her tone. That wasn't part of the plan. Feel free to share my number. But I think, why not give it a try? I don't encounter many individuals with whom I feel comfortable conversing, and I thought perhaps we could, have a discussion. The tension seemed to dissipate slightly. Her openness created a sense of comfort for me. I understand. I'm certainly not expressing any dissatisfaction, I remarked, a soft chuckle escaping my lips. What topic would you like to discuss? She hesitated once more, and I could feel her weighing her words with great thoughtfulness. Indeed, that seems to be the case. I must express that you stand out from the typical individuals I encounter. Many individuals enter and exit in a flash. It appears you prioritize your well-being, and I thought it might be nice for us to connect on a deeper level. My heart raced with anticipation. What was happening in this place? This seemed far too informal for the dynamics of a nurse-patient relationship. It was an unfamiliar sensation, and a part of me sensed that retreating might be the wisest choice. Yet, her words ignited a desire within me to continue the conversation. I would appreciate that, I stated, my tone growing slightly more assured now. I'm uncertain about your thoughts, but I believe it would be enjoyable to learn more about one another. A brief moment of silence lingered before she uttered another word. I'm simply speaking my truth, Jack. This isn't something I typically engage in. It's somewhat unusual for me, yet I sense a bond between us. It's not merely your appearance, there's an essence about you that captivates. I trust you won't perceive it as unprofessional. I wouldn't engage in this at my workplace. It was hard to fathom the words that reached my ears. Though she wasn't laying everything bare, her honesty shone through. Her open interest was unmistakable, and it made me feel, quite frankly, unique. It inspired me to pursue the next phase, whatever that might entail. It's certainly not unprofessional, I asserted, striving to maintain a calm tone. I suppose neither of us anticipated this, but I'm pleased you reached out. Happy to have your number. Her laughter was gentle, and I could sense her smile even through the distance of the phone line. She expressed her happiness as well. How about we grab a coffee together sometime, if you have the time? I was utterly astonished. This had evolved beyond a mere casual exchange. She was inviting me to go out with her. Indeed, in a manner of speaking. It may not have been the typical approach, yet it was unfolding. Absolutely, I replied, my grin widening as I expressed my enthusiasm. What do you think about this weekend? She appeared to ponder it for a moment. That sounds ideal. I will send you the details shortly. Excellent, I remarked, still somewhat amazed by the seamlessness of this experience. Anticipating it eagerly. Once the call ended, I lingered in silence, absorbing the weight of the moment that had just unfolded. I reached out to her, anticipating a brief chat, and suddenly I found myself with plans to meet her. It was wild to contemplate. I was completely in the dark about what was coming next, yet there was an undeniable truth to it all. There was undeniably a shift occurring between us. I must admit, I dedicated the entire week before our coffee date to pondering every tiny detail. I was uncertain whether she shared my feelings or if it was merely a fleeting curiosity on her part. Ultimately, we were still in a professional environment when she handed me her number. As I pondered the situation further, it became increasingly clear that I had no valid reason to hold back from going. She had expressed her interest, and perhaps it was worth exploring what might develop from it. Saturday arrived faster than I anticipated, and as I stepped into the coffee shop, anxiety washed over me. I arrived a bit ahead of time, a tendency I had when feeling uneasy, so I simply sat there, biding my time. I had only ever seen her in her nurse uniform, and I was intrigued to see how she would appear in everyday attire. The instant she entered, I was struck by her breathtaking beauty. Liana wore a simple white blouse paired with black jeans, yet there was an undeniable air of effortless elegance surrounding her. It struck the perfect balance, subtly captivating my interest. Her hair flowed freely, and she possessed a captivating beauty that required no enhancement to shine. I rose to my feet the moment I caught sight of her, and a smile spread across her face when our eyes met. It wasn't the polished smile I was accustomed to encountering at the clinic, but rather something more at ease and authentic. "Hey Jack," she said, approaching me with a casual confidence. Her voice carried a comforting warmth that instantly made me feel at home. Apologies for my slight delay. I trust you haven't been kept waiting for too long. I shook my head, a smile spreading across my face. No worries, everything's fine. I'm truly pleased that we were able to connect at last. As we settled into our seats, a sense of unease washed over me, leaving me uncertain about how to conduct myself. Our conversations in the clinic had been few and far between, yet this moment carried an entirely new energy. The dialogue began at a leisurely pace, filled with the typical casual exchanges. How did my week go? How did hers turn out? Such matters. As we continued our journey, it became evident that our similarities ran deeper than I had anticipated. She inquired about my experience in sports, and I shared that I had been passionate about fitness for years, primarily focusing on running, weight training, and a bit of boxing. Her genuine interest caught me off guard. I often assumed that people merely nodded in agreement, yet she posed insightful questions, eager to understand my reasons for pursuing it and what fueled my passion. She leaned forward slightly, expressing her admiration for those who prioritize their physical well-being. It requires effort, yet the satisfaction of witnessing the outcomes makes it worthwhile. That resonated with me as something deeper than mere small talk. It seemed as though her words carried weight beyond mere conversation. She was sincerely attempting to forge a connection. I was puzzled by what she found appealing in me. Honestly, I hardly understood what drew me to her. Yet there was an undeniable quality about her that put me at ease. She possessed a quiet confidence that was never overwhelming. It was a confidence that inspired trust in her presence. Eventually, the conversation took a different direction. She shared with me the details of her job, her daily routine, and the pressures of working in a clinic, interacting with patients constantly. I had no idea how challenging it could be for individuals in her profession. I had always thought they had it simple, considering they were the ones calling the shots. Listening to her discuss the extended hours, the emotional strain, and the constant demand for perfection shifted my perspective on her line of work. At times, it can become overwhelming, she confessed, her voice gentle. However, one finds a way to navigate through it. You persist because it's necessary. Yet, it's pleasant to have a companion for conversation. Her delivery was so intimate, as if she were revealing a secret she had kept hidden, that it caused me to stop and reflect. A palpable change in the atmosphere enveloped us. I had become more than just a fleeting thought in her mind. She confided in me, revealing thoughts and feelings she likely kept hidden from everyone else. For some inexplicable reason, that only intensified my desire to listen. It was evident that she was restraining herself somewhat. A part of her remained cautious, perhaps due to a sense of duty, or perhaps from a fear of overstepping boundaries. I found a connection. I had constructed my own barriers, yet I discovered a desire to dismantle them gradually. What activities do you engage in to unwind? I inquired, hoping to guide the dialogue toward a more cheerful topic. After a brief pause, she gathered her thoughts before responding. I typically head home, relax with a good book or enjoy a film. Visiting the beach is something I enjoy whenever the opportunity arises. This is one of the rare spots where I can genuinely find clarity in my thoughts. A smile graced my lips. The beach seems delightful. It's been some time since my last visit, yet I've been intending to return soon. Perhaps we could venture out together at some point. The proposal lingered in the atmosphere for a brief moment before she replied. I would appreciate that. Perhaps we could turn it into a whole day of enjoyment. In that moment, I understood just how much pleasure I was deriving from this experience. It wasn't merely about the date, it was the bond we were beginning to forge. Engaging in conversation with her felt effortless. As I gazed into her eyes, it struck me that she had transcended her role as merely a nurse from the clinic. She was a person I truly wished to understand better. We concluded the evening with a cheerful exchange, both looking forward to our next meeting. As we prepared to depart, she flashed me a brief smile. I'm truly pleased we embarked on this journey, Jack. It seems to me that there's a positive connection between us. I wholeheartedly concur. The tempo of the music increased slightly, and I observed Lily rising from the table. Her gaze captured mine, sparkling with a playful intrigue. "Let's go, Brad. Embrace life a bit more." Without giving me a moment to reply, she took my hand and led me to the intimate dance floor. I paused for a moment, surveying the room, uncertain if I was on the verge of making a fool of myself. However, I came to a realization. No one here seemed to care. No one was aware of my existence. No one was observing. That realization brought me a sense of liberation. As we entered the dance floor, the lights softened, and the rhythm pulsed more intensely within me. I never considered myself a dancer. It had been ages since I last danced, not since the high school prom, and even back then, I felt out of place. Yet, Lily was not allowing me the opportunity to reconsider my choices. She glided with the rhythm, her movements smooth and instinctive, as though she was meant to be in that moment. I, conversely, felt completely out of my element. As I observed her, I found myself beginning to relax. It wasn't about seeking validation or appearing trendy. It was all about embracing the now, fully immersing oneself in the experience at hand. For the first time in a long while, I found myself unbothered by the opinions of others. The melodies, the atmosphere, Lily's vibrant spirit, everything seemed to urge me to break free from my own thoughts. I chuckled as I tripped over a step, and Lily simply shot me a smile. "Here it is. Keep it simple." That was the moment I understood, Lily was not merely present to pull me away from my thoughts. She was attempting to assist me in uncovering aspects of myself that I had hidden away. The echoes of my past, the separation, the sense of treachery, all felt like a fading recollection in this moment. For once, I found a moment of clarity amidst the chaos of my mind. I existed, fully engaged, and immersed in the now. We twirled and swayed for what seemed like an eternity, the melodies shifting, yet our energy never waned. It wasn't about achieving perfection. It was all about enjoyment, letting go of all other concerns. It's been ages since I experienced such a sense of freedom. After a moment, Lily tugged me back to the bar, our laughter echoing as we regained our composure. She rested against the counter, gazing at me with that familiar smile. "Do you see? Isn't that a pleasant sensation?" I smiled, brushing the sweat from my brow with the back of my hand. I never thought I'd admit it, but that was genuinely enjoyable. She arched an eyebrow. "It was my pleasure." I shook my head, still trying to grasp how effortlessly she seemed to embrace life. Honestly, I never expected to experience this level of enjoyment again. Not after all that's transpired. Lily's expression softened, and for the first time, I glimpsed a deeper understanding in her eyes. "It's all right, Brad. You've faced many challenges, yet it's perfectly fine to release what no longer serves you. To allow yourself to experience joy once more. It doesn't imply that you're letting go of the past. It simply signifies that you are allowing yourself some time to relax." A touch of liberation. Her words struck me with an intensity one hadn't anticipated. She was indeed correct. I had not allowed myself to experience anything beyond sorrow and disillusionment. The thought of releasing everything for even a single night is intriguing. It felt like a breath of fresh air. "Thank you," I murmured softly, a surge of appreciation enveloping me. This was truly essential for me. I had no idea how significant it was. She playfully nudged me. "It's insignificant. There are many more evenings like this in store for you, if you allow me to assist. Believe me, this is merely the start." I smiled at her words, feeling a mix of uncertainty and excitement about the direction this was taking. Uncertainty loomed over the future, yet in this moment, after what felt like an eternity, a sense of clarity washed over me, affirming that I was finally heading in the right direction. The burden I carried still lingered, yet it no longer felt overwhelming. We settled at the bar, engaging in light conversation, sharing laughter as we enjoyed our beverages. For a moment, I transcended the identity of Brad, the guy nursing a broken heart. I was simply Brad, existing in the present moment. I found myself uncertain of where the night would lead, yet as I spent time with Lily, it became clear that the journey held more significance than the end point. The experience revolved around the expedition, a chance to unearth aspects of my identity that I had long concealed. Lily inched forward slightly. Are you prepared for the next wild adventure? I gazed at her, feeling the thrill of anticipation swell within me. What are your thoughts on this? Her smile grew broader. Just wait and see. I believe this will resonate with you. In that moment, a wave of excitement washed over me. It felt as if I was beginning to embrace the tumult of the evening. Not everything needed to be logical. Not everything needed to be meticulously arranged. At times, simply releasing your grip and allowing life to unfold can be all that is needed. And for tonight, with Lily by my side, I felt prepared to embark on whatever journey awaited us. The evening lingered far beyond my anticipation. Following several more rounds of drinks and spontaneous choices to explore various locations throughout the city, Lily and I ended up perched on a bench by the water, gazing at the city lights shimmering on the surface. The air was invigorating, a delightful crispness that awakened the senses. At last, everything seemed to fall into place. For a change, my mind was free from the weight of the past. The hour was a mystery to me, yet it held no significance. The evening was just beginning, and Lily had transformed into a steady presence amidst a chaos I hadn't realized was pulling me under. She not only assisted me in moving past my troubles. She illuminated the path for me, showing that life still held experiences beyond my sorrow. Though it was challenging, each moment shared with her seemed to bring me closer to recovery. I caught a glimpse of her, observing how the street lights danced upon her hair, bestowing it with a gentle radiance. Her smile was authentic, transcending the mere playful glimmer of someone in search of enjoyment. It transcended the ordinary. You know, I said, shattering the stillness, this has been absolutely wild. I'm not quite sure how to put it into words, but it seems like I'm embarking on a new beginning. It feels as though I can finally take a deep breath once more. Lily gazed at me, her eyes filled with warmth. Indeed, that is the case, Brad. A new beginning awaits you. Let go of that weight, it doesn't need to stay with you always. It's perfectly fine to release what no longer serves you. Her words struck me with an intensity one hadn't anticipated. I've carried that weight for far too long. It had woven itself into the very fabric of my being. I was unsure of how to release it. How to progress without it. For the first time in months, a glimmer of possibility sparked within me. Perhaps, just perhaps, I might find a way to begin anew. I'm uncertain about my next steps. I confessed, my voice now barely above a whisper. I'm uncertain about how to progress without reflecting on the past. She extended her arm and gently rested her hand on my shoulder. Take your time and you'll find the solution. Simply approach each day as it comes. We lingered in quietude, observing the gentle undulations of the water. It was peculiar, experiencing this tranquility after all that I had endured. The past few weeks have been a tumultuous journey of feelings. Yet in this moment, a tranquility washed over me that I hadn't anticipated. Lily rose after a brief pause and extended her limbs. Are you ready to continue this journey? Or do you believe you've wrapped up the wild nights for the time being? I let out a soft laugh, rising to my feet beside her. I believe I've reached the end of my work for the evening. I'm uncertain about how much more chaos I can endure. She smiled brightly. That seems reasonable. You've received a complete measure. However, keep in mind that existence need not revolve around the spontaneous and adventurous pursuits. It's about discovering those small instances that ignite a sense of vitality within you. And you, Brad, you have the ability to experience vitality once more. One must persistently seek it out. Her words brought an involuntary smile to my face. It transcended the wild evenings and the rush of excitement. It was all about the subtle details, the instances that held deeper significance. I had much to unravel, yet I felt no fear about what lay ahead. Lily glanced in my direction, her face reflecting a deep contemplation. I believe it's time for me to head out. However, Brad, you need not face this challenge by yourself. Many people hold you dear, and you are not anchored to what has already transpired. Your future is yours to shape. I acknowledged her words with a nod. She was indeed correct. There were individuals in my life who showed concern for me, even when it didn't always seem apparent. Though I longed to remain in the familiar embrace of my past, Lily had illuminated the path toward new horizons. I nodded thoughtfully, a smile playing on my lips as I looked at her. She moved in and wrapped her arms around me for a brief embrace. Look after yourself, Brad. And keep in mind, there's no need to transform everything all at once. Simply proceed one step at a time. As I observed her retreating figure, a whirlwind of feelings surged within me. I felt a deep sense of appreciation for her and all she had done to help me uncover aspects of myself that I believed were gone forever. Yet, I was aware that this evening must eventually draw to a close. We were destined for a passionate adventure. What Lily and I experienced transcended that. It was a journey of transformation, evolution, and rediscovering my true essence. As I stood there, solitary once more, yet curiously unaccompanied by loneliness, a significant realization dawned upon me. This was not the conclusion of my narrative. The journey had only just commenced. The ache of the separation will forever linger within me. However, I was not obligated to allow it to shape my identity or my future. Existence transcended mere survival. It was about embracing life with authenticity and depth. From this moment forward, I would embrace a life that filled me with pride for the person I was evolving into. I took out my phone, choosing to message my closest friend. The moment had arrived to begin crafting visions for the future, shifting focus away from the shadows of the past. Hey there, it's been quite the journey. How about we catch up over a drink soon? I believe I'm prepared to turn the page to the next chapter. As I sent that message, a sensation in my chest began to ease, as if I was releasing the final fragment of what once was. After months of uncertainty, I finally found peace with what lay ahead. This marked more than just the conclusion of night out. A fresh beginning was on the horizon.